Hello, welcome to your introduction to the Emotional Monsters Project. But first, let's just think about emotions in general. We need to consider recognizing and identifying certain emotions. The lesson objective for this part is to recognize and explain the various aspects that form emotions and the ways they can be conveyed using body language and facial expressions. Now, when we talk about emotions, we can say that there are 6 basic emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. Though, of course, we can also talk about emotions in terms of having trust or anticipation. Emotions do become much more complicated than that. And there are different ways to express our emotions using language. These are a bunch of different words that we can use to explain, for example, feeling happy or feeling angry. In 1980, this man, Robert Plutchik, he created this wheel of emotions, which was basically a graphic depiction on how to describe emotions and how they're related. And he did a lot of studying of emotions, and he was the one that really found these 8 primary emotions. And within those emotions, there's actually opposites to each other. For example, joy is the opposite of sadness, and fear is the opposite of anger. And there are actually reasons why they're organized this way. So we can literally map out our emotions that we experience. Now, there are some common emotions. If you've seen the movie Inside Out or even Inside Out 2, you know that there are some basic emotions, but then your emotions actually change as you get older and as you grow into yourself. Now, there are 3 key elements of emotion, which are the subjective experience, the physiological response, and the behavior response. And we're going to look at each of them. For the subjective experience, this is where there's a new thought, a new sensation, something happens to you, you hear something, right? This thing occurs to you, and then you experience the emotion. Everyone experiences emotions, but that experience is highly subjective. What that means is the experience depends on you. The way I experience happiness is going to be different than the way that you experience happiness. Everyone experiences emotions a little differently and to different degrees. That's what makes it subjective. For the physiological experience, this is the result of our autonomic nervous system reacting to something, also known as the fight or flight response. Basically, you see something, you hear something, and then your body creates these physical indications, such as dilated pupils, trembling because you're feeling fearful, pale or flushed skin, or rapid heartbeat or breathing. So you have a facial expression, for example, your heart rate and breathing changes, you have even changes in your hormone levels. And then there's the behavioral experience. This is where you're saying something, you're doing something, or you're suppressing the desire to do or say something. For example, when you get really angry, you might want to say something in that anger, but maybe at the same time you want to hold back from saying that. So the behavioral experience is the actual expression of the emotion, such as smiling, laughing, frowning, crying. And these can be expressed differently per person. Some people cry differently than others. But basically, we are signaling to others how we feel. But this is also vital to our well-being. It's normal to express these emotions. So what's the difference between emotions versus feelings versus moods? So emotions are usually short-lived. They encompass a range of responses, which we just reviewed. Feelings, though, are subjective experiences that arise from emotions. They're influenced by personal interpretations and beliefs. And then moods are a sustained emotional state, but less intense than emotions, but they're experienced for a longer period of time. So you can have an emotion and then you have a feeling based on that emotion, and it can actually create a certain mood that you have for the rest of the day. Now, this is your project. It's called Emotional Monsters. This is also a double pinch pot project. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a freestanding monster that's made of 2 pinch pots attached together. The form, which is body language and facial expression, will convey a specific emotion. And you're going to see some student examples here. So the objectives for this project are to create a freestanding monster that's made of 2 pinch pots attached together. We're conveying an emotion using forms, and we're using the pinch technique to create those forms. We're going to create surface textures using various ceramic tools and techniques. We're using the score and slip method to attach parts together. Later on, we'll be using colorful glazes to decorate the surface of your monster. And we're demonstrating excellent craftsmanship skills by neatly scoring and slipping all attachments and smoothing out the clay surface. Now, from the hand building technique, which is pinching, right? This is where you're creating hand-built forms by squeezing the clay between your thumb and fingers, or your fingers and your palm. From this method, we can create pinch pots. But by using the pinch pots, if we create 2 pinch pots, we can put them together, which creates a 3D form. And you're going to be doing something very similar to this. Now, where are the 2 pinch pots in this example? Now, as you can see, this example uses 2 pinch pots, one for the top, one for the bottom. What about this example? So as you can see, the head is actually made using 2 pinch pots put together, and then the body is also made of 2 larger pinch pots put together. And we can figure this out because of the way the head is connected to the body. You can see that there's a definite area between the neck, where the neck is going to be. Now, this sculpture actually uses 3 pinch pots. Where are they located? So looking at this, the body is made using 2 pinch pots put together, and the head is actually 1 pinch pot. You can see a difference here due to the way the head is connected to the body. Now, the legs are not made of pinch pots. They're actually hollowed out so they don't explode in the kiln. And these are some more examples of emotional monster projects. Now for this example, these 2, the monster is made of 2 pinch pots attached together. That is it. That means the head is literally part of the body. For this example, the body is made of 2 pinch pots attached together, and the head is a single or double pinch pot put together. Now let's actually look at an artist who creates monsters. Her name is Ava Funderburg. She's a ceramic artist based in Seattle, Washington. And basically, her work deals with the overlapping of humanity and the natural world. She says she uses simple emotive animal forms to examine human motives and emotions. And you can tell by these artworks, they all have some sort of story involved. I really like the textures that she includes for her sculptures, and they're actually really big monsters. They look really small in the photos. And each one's unique, and we could say a lot of them use pinch pots, and they do convey some sort of emotion, even though they're lacking some details. Here's another artist, Hannah Simpson. She's based in the United Kingdom. For Hannah, creativity has always been a therapeutic outlet, allowing her to navigate and control her emotions. For these monster creatures, they use a lot of patterns, lots of vibrant colors, and they are supposed to be representations of difficult thoughts and negative emotions, transforming them into approachable and humorous entities, kind of like a stuffed animal. So I would say her sculptures are definitely expressive. And I love the different colors and the forms that she uses for her monsters. And we just have some more examples here of monsters and creatures, and you will have access to a slideshow with lots of examples. This just gives you an idea of the different types of forms and ways you can include texture for your monster. Now, can your monster be a mix of 2 animals, or can it be based off an animal? Sure, it doesn't have to be a monster. It can just have features from an animal. Now these are some more student examples from the past. You could have a monster that's just sitting. You can also have a monster like this one that is lying down. The whole point is that the body and the head are made using pinch pots. There are many different details you can include on your monster to help convey that emotion. Obviously, we're looking at the facial expression as well as the body language, but you also can add lots of unique details. Now make sure you pause and pick up and review the requirements and parameters before we create a mind map. Because yes, you might be thinking of all different types of ideas, but we want to actually brainstorm different emotions first.